Good evening, everyone. Give it a minute or so. Allow people to drift in. Before we begin, you might just check out your present location. Sense what is entering your senses. And the whole evening will be getting used to this. So we might as well start now. I like to do, for myself, I like to do a little weather report. I mean, internally, I don't need to let you know what my internal weather is, but do a little internal weather report. What's your mood? What's your attitude? What's the state of your body? State of your mind? And I notice that even inclining our mind, inclining our heart to know what our present experience is, our present weather, just that inclination of the mind begins a beautiful, but sometimes overlooked secret, that attention given to the life, your life, in the present moment, in real time, if we actually comprehend what's happening in real time, it brings peace. It's a salve for our hearts. It's a salve for our moods, the salve for our bodies to just notice what is the present weather. But just to further this inclination of the mind to take a continuous weather report. This is what the Buddha recommended in the Majjhima Nikaya, which is the middle-length suttas or teachings of the Buddha, in a sutra entitled One Fortunate Attachment. He said, "Let not a person revive the past or on the future build their hopes, for the past has been left behind, the future has not been reached. Instead, with insight, let them see each presently arisen state. Let them know that and be sure of it, invincibly, unshakably. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come. Who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his hordes away. But one who dwells thus ardently, relentless by day, by night, it is they, the peaceful sage has said, who have one fortunate attachment." So to actualize this one fortunate attachment to real-time experience, to knowing unshakably, invincibly, ardently, by day, by night, we employ what is most natural to us, what is most close to us, nearer than our breath. And that is what Kala Rinpoche calls this ever-present wakefulness and clarity, awareness. So we start with that ultimate fact of being aware, letting our eyes close softly, letting that awareness be then filled with the inner experience beyond the image of our body. Noticing how quickly all ideas of our body give way to the feeling of sensation. Just knowing this as it is. The heart of the teachings based on this phrase in Pali, yata bhuta, things as they are. Not as they were, not as they could be, should be, would be, but things as they are. This is our Dharma gate, our doorway. This is why our vow, our commitment, our aim is to welcome what is here. We feel our sitting body with its senses. Feel the aliveness, tingling, vibration, pulsing. And we feel the throbbing, the expanding and contracting of the sitting body when it breathes. We discover the weather of the breath. Jagged, smooth, deep, shallow, long, short. Just know what is the weather of the breath right now. And lo and behold, just knowing, clear comprehension, this experience of the breath, we start to experience the byproduct of bringing attention so intimately into this experience of breathing. There's a calming, a steadying, a focus. Perhaps you're noticing the pleasant dwelling that can come when our attention is settled in this simple opening and emptying experience of breath. Opening, meaning that we receive it with graciousness and openness. Steadying, stilling, calming. Now, if you don't experience any of these things with the experience of breath, perhaps you can sense some of this stilling and calming just by feeling the whole sitting body. Either body, whole body, or breath. Because they're here, because they are now as it is. They are a marvelous anchor to this unfolding present. We start here, we stay here, we refine here. But we do so with the knowledge that other experiences, if we are here more continuously, other experiences will be noticed more clearly. Sounds, other sensations, moods, thoughts. Everything arises unbidden into this unfolding now. So no need to strain to get anywhere, become someone, acquire something, convince yourself of something. Just open the tight fist of grasping. Let go. Let be as is. Just this moment. Just this breath or body or whatever predominates. Likely to be a stream of thoughts that come from time to time, and some of them will be noticed. And they're just an expression of awareness, no problem. But some will be unnoticed, and you might get lost in them, absorbed, fixated. And you won't know that until there is a re-arising of mindfulness, a clear knowing again. That moment, celebrate, relax, don't judge. Just know that you're here again, and to support staying here, able to meet each presently arising experience, we connect again with that felt sense of our body, the gentle movements that our body makes when it breathes. Or notice whatever may be presenting itself in the other doors of perception. Just this moment. Just notice your mind less fixated, less absorbed. Notice what it's like unfolded, open, welcoming. Sense the wider, deeper sense of presence. Get used to it. Be aware, supported by the body, until body, attention are one thing. Bodyfulness. Body opening into this field of awareness, presence. Just this moment. A pleasant surprise to open my eyes and see all of you. I got sufficiently absorbed enough in a few little mental trains and just in the silence of the practice that for a while I forgot where I was. Maybe you did too. Anyway, one of the ways that I thought that we could reinforce the fact that we are together and just feel the blessing of that is to briefly, if you're willing to, while still retaining the fragrance of your practice, please feel free to unmute and say good evening to each other.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Everybody. Good to see you all.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Medicine. That is medicine. So last week I immediately launched right into, whoops, we have to do some muting. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Mary, for co-hosting tonight. Anyway, last week I launched right into whatever Dharma thoughts I was having, wanted to share for the evening, and I thought I would just do a little pause tonight and open the space for a few questions, comments, descriptions, on anything that you notice, particularly in the practice tonight, what you're noticing in your practice in general, and remembering, as always, that whatever question you have about practice or the teachings or your experience, that it will be likely of some benefit to someone else. So please feel free. So is there anyone that has any comment or question? Oh, and Mary, you want to explain how to alert me?
You can simply, under reactions, under your Zoom things, there is an option there to say raise hand. And I believe you can also do it from your participant menu also. But the easiest way is reactions.
Thank you, Brenda, for breaking the ice. Please feel free.
I've just been amazed. I haven't been here for a while, but just for the last few weeks, how I mean, I've been sitting in my chair zooming for, a year and a half now, and it's always feels so, ultimately a little alienating. But this is it really, I'm amazed at how just sitting here, you just feel part of everything, this group, and it's just, I don't know, it's just amazing to me, and I just wanted to say that. Thank you all.
So great to see you, and thanks for your presence, and it's you showing up and each person showing up that creates whatever that feeling is, even virtually, of connection and immediacy and all those things that are part of our meditative experience. Thank you. Anybody else? Well, I will see this in a positive way as the practice succeeded in stealing your your mind, allowing you to fall into the natural quiescence, the natural quietness of your nature. Step out of the stream of distress. Happy for you. Okay. Oh, Linda. I didn't know that was you. It's so thrilling to see you.
The feeling is mutual. Years ago, I went on a concentration retreat at Spirit Rock, and I think I over-efforted a little bit in that retreat such that I began to get a headache when attending to my breath. And now I think my nervous system is kind of just sort of gotten permanently wired that way, even when I make a point of being very relaxed and spacious and not trying to effort in any way. That headache tends to arise when I purposely focus on my breath. But I find that if I just sort of try to attend to my body in general, that can be very easy to kind of drift away from it. And so I just wanted to solicit your wisdom in such a case.
Thank you. Well, if you have entrained your mind to go into some kind of a quality of tension, then the natural next step before you give up on the breath, even though it's just one of many possible things we can pay attention to, it does have many benefits. But before you give up on it, you might want to just leave the breath for the moment that you notice the headache and turn toward the headache. And just explore that, do that, bring that same kind of relaxed attention to that and see if it has solidity or not. Because the tendency is once you notice it is to have a little mental reaction to it, and that will reinforce the headache. So you turn, in a way, you're turning away from it, solidifying it in a way, and by turning toward it, and maybe you've done that already, but by turning toward it, you may see that it's more fluid than you think, and it may not be a problem that needs to be solved. So we could go many directions with this. The other part of, you said that you also widen out and sit with the whole body, but you tend to leave real time very easily if you do that. So when in those times where we're not so settled, if you use the whole body, you can use touch points, just so where it's a little bit more intentional and you actively move from left buttocks, right buttocks, lips, eye, you know the routine, hands, and then whole body. And so the activity, the mental activity of moving your attention around can sometimes keep you present for a while until your mind falls into its natural steadiness, natural strength, more continuity of mindfulness. Then you wouldn't probably leave so easily.
Thank you, Howie.
Thank you. Okay, so Mary, I think I will leave it up to you now to share any announcements, and then we'll just take a 3 to 5 minute stretch bio break after Mary shares a few of the evening announcements. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Mary.
Howie.
Co-host.
Okay, thanks. Well, welcome everyone to Mission Dharma. And I think I really just have, I don't think we have any events coming up, do we, Howie? I last I checked the calendar, you don't have anything until September.
Yeah.
We'll plan a half day at some point, but
we'll have a half day probably sometime in July.
yeah.
And of course, we will meet always on Tuesdays. But yes, my next retreat in September is the Labor Day retreat, which is going to be on the land at Spirit Rock in person. It has been shortened to September 3rd to the 6th. And it will be on the land though, but it will be limited to 80 spaces. And the registration has not opened yet, but will very soon. So take a peek, see when it's going to open, and then get your seat. Anyway, I'd love to sit with all of you at the Labor Day retreat, along with James Barras and Leslie Booker and Terry Vanderveer leading the movement, which is a great team. So,
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's-
Mary.
Oh, no worries. That's exciting news that we're going to be back on the land. So just a quick reminder about Donna. Mission Dharma has been here Tuesday nights. You can come home every Tuesday night to Mission Dharma for the last 35 plus years. And that is all due to your generosity. Your generosity is what keeps this going, is what will keep it going in supporting the teachers, supporting Howie. So yeah, so it's a two-way street. It's mutual dependency here. You know, Howie gives the teachings, we support Howie. So I have put the Donna information in the chat box. And so thank you in advance for your generosity. And now we have a little bio stretch, or take care of your Donna break.
So in 3 minutes, 4 minutes, we'll resume. Thank you. Always the word that we start with on every Tuesday and every practice period is the word now. It's really the heart of everything that ever happens in our lives, everything that will happen. It's always about what's happening now. And when we orient ourselves to now, we get a little glimpse. We come out of the enfolded, absorbed mind. I called it tonight the stream of distress. We wake up to where we are, to now. In that moment of waking up, of being here, we literally sweep away the past. We sweep away the future because they don't really exist except in our imagination, in our beautiful, rich story. But now they don't really exist. And this sweeping away of past and future allows us to come face to face. That's metaphor. There's really no face here that we come face to face with, but we come into contact with, we realize now a different experience of what and who we are. That is, as I've said many times, that's not historical. That is something close to historical, but maybe we could call it primordial. Something that always already is. That is unconditional, unconditioned. Sometimes it's called deathless. And just unfolding into now, what we call now, it seems, I don't know about if this is true for you, but it seems that there is room to breathe and we attend to our breath, but there's space. It's open. When the dust of memory has been brushed away a little bit, it's open. And somehow the outside world, whatever the situation that we're in, it doesn't seem like it's changed much, but it has changed because we have changed. We've changed. We've changed. We've come out of an incarnation of a troubled, absorbed, opinionated, reactive, dissatisfied, imagined self into this field of creative possibility, openness. This experience is transcendence. We have transcended our small little version of ourselves and opened into life, into the indescribable experience of our life now. This is where we look now. But there's also something very beautiful about, from this vantage point, not really a vantage point, but from this centerless space of observation, to reflect on our lives, to reflect on our historical life, to reflect on, like I'm sitting here and what we do now as a general practice in the Dharma communities is we acknowledge where we're sitting, each of us as individuals, and this is part of our story. We are sitting on some version of ancestral land. This is the land of the coastal Miwok. And we want to remain very sensitive to the fact that we didn't just saunter in here and say, okay, with no past, nothing that happened before. Many causes and conditions led to us emerging, some wholesome and some not so wholesome, emerging into this experience now in this place. But everything I'm describing is part of a more mental process of orienting ourselves historically and mapping the identity of who we are as a person. We also, from this vantage point of openness, that's always that openness is just, that's a given. But how this body came to be is from my historical ancestral roots of Russia, Romania, Poland, Eastern Europe. I think I did a 23andMe, and I even had some Yakut or something from East Asia, that the little tiny thing, places in Africa. This huge diaspora of people through the centuries, through thousands of years. And this body emerged through all these circumstances. And even though primordially I am as empty and transcendent as the sky, but where the rubber meets the road in my individual life with its situations and stories, I am this 67-year-old Jewish guy, or at least that's the religion of my birth. And I am, by all appearances, in this culture of hypersensitivity, and appropriate in many cases, hypersensitivity to race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, ability. I'm a straight white guy. And with the prevailing mental orientation, I am one of the, and it's seeped into our culture, I'm one, I can easily be cast into the privileged, into the oppressor, even though I'm in many cases, I'm not the right kind of white guy. I'm a Jewish guy. I come from an oppressed experience as well. But whatever it is that your ancestry, whatever brought you to be, that both has a historical context, whatever your situation is, it does not touch that common humanity, that deeper place in us that is human, that draws breath. It's the reason I say that word draws breath, it's in the teachings on the development of what are called the Brahma Viharas, the immeasurable qualities of the heart. When one trains in the radiation of metta, of loving kindness, one goes through all these different categories of dear ones and difficult people and neutral people, and then expands to include all beings. And then when you do all beings, you go into all those, all individuals, all those in existence, all beings everywhere, all those who draw breath. Of course, that includes many sentient beings, creatures of the air, water, land, etc. So we have these two truths in a way, that truth of our ultimate freedom. And without that, without knowing that unfolded experience of freedom, that in you that has never, that is never disturbed, actually. That you're, as Ajahn Chah calls it, your original mind. Unless you taste that, you will fall into, very innocently, into what the Buddha called the four floods. And the four floods, you could say, are the undercurrents, the mental qualities, or the mental streams, the understreams, like the engines that drive a lot of our mental activity. Those mental streams, those what are called the four floods, the Pali for it is Oga Bhaga, four floods. And the four floods, the way they manifest in each of us, it has been determined by our ancestry, our conditioning, our situation. And once these floods become the exclusive realm of our identity, we wander a long time in that enfolded state of dissatisfaction, of stress, of reactivity. And those four floods are you hear them all the time in different forms, but the flood of sensuality, where we just really get caught in the desire body. And of course, now part of the legacy of our cultural script, you could say, is the more you have, the happier you are, the more variety of experiences, the better. If you're the more stimulating, the better. And this flood of sensuality, this flood of mind that tells us that whatever we acquire, whatever we have will make us happier than we are, it never proves to be true. Yet our mind is habituated, this undercurrent is driving us. And it came from beginningless patterning. So it's useful to remember that so much of the floods that run through our mind, these undercurrents that drive our mental activity, are historical. They're innocent in that way. They're not our fault. In fact, there's not one element of our nature, really. Anything about us, from the skin, the bones, the elements in it, there's nothing in us that is really our fault. And one of the floods, besides the flood of sensuality, one of the floods is the flood of becoming, the place in our mind where we construct ourselves. And I did a lot about this last week, I think, maybe every week, but we do a lot of in the flood of becoming, the flood of pride, the flood of self, we construct that whole conceptual overlay on this primordial openness. We construct the sense of a self in time, an identity that has come from the past, passing through here on our way to the future. And we do that again and again and associate our worth, our wealth, our worth, our well-being, our happiness with what we're becoming. where we're going, where we've been and where we're going. We do it as a culture, we do it as a person. But this flood is really, in some ways, just this undercurrent of mental activity that keeps us associating our well-being with something that's actually not here, that's not now. And it's a source of huge stress in our lives. This is from Nagarjuna, considered the founder of Mahayana Buddhism. It's entitled, "Someone blocked by confusion. I survive, forging a destiny through impulsive acts. Self-consciously, I enter situations where personality unfolds, the world impacts on my sensitive soul. Personality creates self-consciousness, just as attention, eye, colorful shape trigger vision. Impact is the meeting of self-consciousness in the world. It leads to experience I crave to have and avoid. Craving makes me cling to sensuality, opinions, rules, and selves. Clinging is to insist on being someone. Not to cling is to be free to be no one. To be someone is to be self-conscious, impulsive, thinking, feeling, body, which is born, ages, dies, suffers torment, grief, pain, depression, anxiety. Anguish emerges when someone is born. Impulsive acts are the root of life. Fools are impulsive, but the wise see things as they are. When confusion stops through practicing insight, impulsive acts will cease. By stopping this, that won't happen. Anguish will end." So this passage here, it's not exactly in tune with becoming, but it's a reminder that through our practice, we can unstick from this flood of becoming, from the flood of sensuality. The last two floods, the flood of views and opinions, how much we can construct a world of unsatisfactoriness, of tension, of frustration, getting caught up in the endless amounts of opinions that we have about others, about ourselves, about the world. And all of these are driven by the flood of ignorance, of not understanding that this whole stream of sensuality, stream of becoming, stream of views is really just, it's not myself. It's an empty bubble. There's no substance to it. It's mental activity. It's really not worthy of defining us. The flood of ignorance. I read this passage earlier today. These floods arouse, the problems that these floods arouse, we tend to attribute the dis-ease that we experience to someone else. We blame it on culture or religion. This is from a teacher named Ajahn Sucitto. Blame it on culture or religion or human nature, either wagging a finger of disapproval or shrugging our shoulders in resignation. We may, in other words, adopt pessimistic views, but that strategy doesn't check the floods. And that's where the teachings of the Buddha come in, because we think that we can actually resolve our dis-ease by blaming, demanding, expecting, criticizing, attacking. But we see that that just reinforces what we call samsara, the world of endless wandering, endless waiting for the future well-being that never arrives because we miss now. We miss the fact that time is always now. And the only place we can discover, the only place we can actually reflect with some clarity of perception is now. Not through the lens of these floods, not by blaming, not by finding a scapegoat to heap our aggression on, but by saying, oh, this is ill will. This is the flood of sensuality. This is becoming. This is what we call papancha, the effusion of the mind that creates this imagined world. So we want to, that's why that passage I read when we first came in tonight, if we want to really be free, really realize, get used to, gain confidence in that unconditioned well-being, that lokuttara sukha that the Buddha talked about, a happiness that's unstuck from the world, beyond the power and influence of everything that's ever happened to us. With great respect to how all these floods came into being through all of the varying circumstances of our lives. If we really want to be free, we have to know unshakably the experience of each presently arising experience. I read it again. Let not a person revive the past or on the future build their hopes. For the past has been left behind, the future has not yet been reached. Instead, with insight, let them see each presently arisen state. Let them know that and be sure of it invincibly, unshakably. Today, the effort must be made. Tomorrow, death may come. Who knows? No bargain with mortality can keep him and his hordes away. But one who dwells thus ardently, relentless by day, by night, it is they, the peaceful sage has said, who has one fortunate attachment. So when the Buddha talks about letting go of attachment, letting go of clinging, it's not exactly true. There is that one desire that no other desire can fulfill. All the other desires we can let go. We can see that they keep us in a flood of dissatisfaction. But this one attachment, this one desire, the desire for freedom that no other desire can fulfill, that one we want to embrace. And not just on Tuesday nights, but keep orienting ourselves to now, where we can taste that sense of it's not nihilistic, it's not denial of everything that brought us here, but it's transcendent to release that trance, to break out of that flood, the flood of sensuality, this flood of views, the flood of becoming, the flood of ignorance, break out of it into the pure light, natural great peace and ease that is the natural peace and ease right now. That means, I was thinking today of, the story that I've shared many times on Tuesday nights about when the Dalai Lama met this family who had lost a child to suicide. And and when he met this family, he picked up on the fact that they were very sad without them saying anything. And he looked at them from that place of openness, not having made any conclusions, but just registering, having the intuition and the intelligence, the sensitivity that comes with being open. It's not just a blank nothing, but having that, he just looked at that family and he said, sad. He said, you're sad. And they started to cry, and then he didn't know anything about them. And then they told their story. And then what did he do? He just came closer to them. He just stayed in the here and now. He didn't let them, nor did he jump into time will heal. God had better plans for him. He just held their faces. They cried. He said, sad. He didn't build a monument of history or future. He just said sad. So to be able to meet our own life that simply, what's the state of your heart right now? Is it happy? Happy. Is it sad? Sad. Is it your mind clear? Clear. Is it dull? It's dull. Just that. So the transcendence is not some exotic place at some other time. It's just awareness with or without objects. Momentary melting away of whatever identity you have. Just being awake. Tonight, when I looked at the bulletin, the email bulletin that Mary sent to share what was happening tonight, and the link, tonight's quote at the top from Ken MacLeod was, freedom from identity is what allows and enables us to be truly human, to be an ongoing response to the challenges, demands, and needs of life. So every moment of being open, empty, present, things just as they are, this is a moment of freedom from identity. Again, it's not nihilistic. It's not denying all the many identities that we have, but it's so close. It's so easy to miss. It's so wondrous. And I'm quoting the Tibetan tradition. They say it's so close. It's so wondrous. It's so vast. And it's so easy. We can't believe that we just have to stay here. So may we all stay here now. May we all appreciate from this vantage point where we came from, where we're going, but know that it's all about this unfolding now. And it's not your fault. Thanks for your practice. May our time together be of some use to you and to all beings everywhere. May all beings know the liberated heart, know lokutra sukha, unconditional happiness. Anyway, thanks for listening and love to